After that news, we broke here last night that Australia will send one Defence Liaison Officer to the US Command Centre in Israel that will help design and oversee a peacekeeping force in Gaza. I thought we should update you on what's happening there. Those Hamas executions and beatings that we showed you back before the peace deal and again after the peace deal prompted a ceasefire. Well, according to the Israeli government and many other sources, they are continuing. Here's a pointed video the Israeli Foreign Ministry has issued targeting the critics of Israel who have been so loud for so long. And a warning, while we've blurred this vision, it still shows brutal acts.
Hamas is executing Palestinians in Gaza. Public executions in broad daylight. Where are you? All the loud voices. The human rights warriors, the moral preachers, the queers for Palestine? Are these your freedom fighters, the ones you march for? You vanished. Hamas must go.
Yeah, just crickets, isn't it? Why are the protesters not at the Opera House tonight, chanting against Hamas? How can those who claim to have been motivated by concerns for Palestinian lives avert their eyes from this? All the feverish talk and wild allegations about genocide, forced starvation and deliberate targeting of civilians seem to have fallen by the wayside as we see what's really going on in Gaza. And once more, the real problem for the people in this Palestinian territory is not Israel, but Hamas.
Well, shocking newly released footage shows Hamas terrorists torturing and executing Palestinians in broad daylight. The video is too graphic to show on air. We can only show you still images, but a warning, it is still very distressing. A man is dragged by a gunman into a public square. In front of a crowd of onlookers, he's savagely beaten and then finally executed. It's terrifying footage, and it is a violation of Donald Trump's peace deal that requires Hamas to lay down its weapons. But where is it being discussed in the media? Where are the pro-Palestinian activists? Where is the United Nations? Well, to discuss, joining me now is Israeli news anchor Lital Shemesh. Lital, well, firstly, let's start with the footage itself. It seems like Hamas is now on a terror spree against Palestinians.
Yes, Sharri, you're absolutely right. They've been doing that for a few weeks now. And I have to be honest and tell you, the moment Israeli IDF soldiers have left most of the Gaza Strip, that was the exact moment where Hamas started to hunt everyone who's carrying weapons who doesn't belong to Hamas. And this situation has been going for dozens of years. We've been seeing in 2005, after Israel took all of its men and women from the Gaza Strip, Hamas was hunting the Palestinian Authority, soldiers, men, women, throwing them off rooftops. And what we're seeing now is basically a regular, normal situation on how the Gaza Strip looks like under Hamas control. Public executions, no women's rights, no gays' rights, all the stuff that people who are marching around the world for Palestinians should stand for.
Well, are you surprised they have been quiet about this, presumably because they can't blame Israel?
100%. When it's not Israel, when Muslims are murdering Muslims around the world keeps silence. The UN keeps silence. The human rights organizations keep silence. It's not news. It's not interesting. Just look on the horrific pictures you've just shown of Hamas publicly executing people. People are cheering in circles around those activities. You must have shown the pictures of the poor shark who was stabbed dozens of times from people, Palestinians who dragged the poor creature out of the ocean.
Lital, sorry to interrupt, but I have read about that, but we actually haven't covered it on the show. So do you want to tell our audience about was it a shark or was it a whale?
It was a shark whale, a very rare type who was swimming along the shores of Israel for quite some time. The moment he got into the Gaza shore, the people just dragged him out of the water and started stabbing it, dozens of people around it. It's a very shocking way to see. And Greenpeace Israel actually posted a message on their Facebook page saying it depends on the context. It depends on the context, and they're writing a lot of sharks are being hunted by people around the world. This is not a regular fishing spree, of people caughting shark in their nets. That was a horrific look. And that's another example of an organization who's supposed to take care of animals and just making excuses for those Palestinians stopping the poor animal.
US Vice President J.D. Vance arrived in Israel last night to support the peace deal. Here he is.
Every time that there's an act of violence, there's this inclination to say, oh, this is the end of the ceasefire. This is the end of the peace plan. It's not the end. It is, in fact, exactly how this is going to have to happen when you have people who hate each other, who have been fighting against each other for a very long time. We are doing very well. We are in a very good place.
So, and by the way, I hate that equivalence that they tend to bring people who've been fighting each other. I mean, Israelis just want to live in peace. They didn't ask for the war. They didn't ask to be invaded and attacked and massacred on October 7. No one wanted this war. But nonetheless, do you think it is now just reality that Israel will have to go back into Gaza to defeat Hamas?
Yes, well, Israel will have to go to Gaza for a number of reasons. First of all, we still haven't gotten all of our hostages. The dead hostages were still being held by Hamas, 13 still being held by Hamas. And secondly, you still have armed men controlling the Gaza Strip. You still have 50% of the terror tunnels who weren't dismantled. And Israel will have to finish the job that it started, so we won't have a threat right on our border. Only this week, Hamas has prevented the ceasefire 4 times. 2 Israeli soldiers has been killed by Hamas terrorists. Just yesterday, again, they were shooting against Israeli soldiers on the yellow border line. So Hamas is preventing the ceasefire again and again. And I think Israel wouldn't have any choice but to get inside the Gaza Strip again.
All right, Lital, Shemesh, thank you very much once again.